Everyone, my name is Gerlix ADANKON from the Institute of Mathematics and Physical Science at the University of Abomey-Calavi in Benin. Welcome again at this conference. Today, I will present our work on assessing and improving the security of e-learning platforms in Africa and how this led to develop the OSSEP security framework for LMS platforms. I work on this study with Dr. Pelagie Wunge and Dr. Emery Asoba. About context, we can say that Africa has rapidly adopted e-learning platforms accelerated by COVID-19. The systems now supports millions of learners but face critical security risks. Our motivation was to understand this risk and propose a context-specific solution and to analyze the situation in depth and propose a realistic open source solution. Our research was guided by three questions. What are the vulnerabilities of LMS platforms in Africa? How those vulnerabilities vary by country and by type? Can we design a cost-effective, standards-aligned framework for Africa? The problem is clear. Many African LMS suffer from overlooked but severe vulnerabilities. Our objectives were threefold. First, to assess the security posture of 40 platforms across 18 countries. Second, to identify and categorize critical vulnerabilities. And third, to propose a comprehensive framework, OSSEP, to strengthen their resilience. As methodology, as we said, we work with many platforms across 18 African countries. Only African Digital Initiative. We use 6 complementary tools such as Nessus, SSL Labs, Mozilla, Observatory, and others. The study combined quantitative scans and also expert focus groups. Platform included governmental, academic, and private institution platform. Our platform comes essentially from West Africa and Central Africa countries, but also from South Africa, from Rwanda, Tunisia, and Morocco. So we can say that there is a geographical spread across all the continents and a diversity of technological infrastructure. We applied black box penetration tests, TLS configuration analysis, software version verification, and manual review for the software configuration. So in our methodology, we use many assessment techniques to combine some advanced assessment techniques to uncover vulnerabilities across all the LMS platforms. As a key findings, our results were alarming. First of all, we can say that 30% of systems had critical vulnerabilities such as UCE. 45% had high risk, leading to potential data breaches. On this graphic, you can see that cross-site scripting affects more than 28% of the platform, and SQL injection affected more than 18% of the platform, posing significant data risk. Using Nessus tools, we have many vulnerabilities, more than 306 detected via Nessus tools. Mozilla Observatory gave an average grade of F under 20 over 100. And the worst score from Mozilla is 0 under 100. About GDPR compliance, the result from survey tools is an average compliance around 38%. Overall, on this graphic, the first one at the left, you can see that government and academic platforms were more exposed than private ones. And the second graphic shows that the risk levels varied across countries, but Nigeria, Rwanda, and Senegal showed some of the most critical exposure. This reinforces that the problem is systemic, not isolated. To address this, we developed OSSEP, the open source security for educational platforms. It covers 11 security domains with governance and governance at the middle, at the center. It recommends proven open source tools such as Keylog, Wazoo, Veracrypt, and others, and is fully aligned with some standards like GDPR, NIST, Andorra, and ISO 27001. The implementation of this standard is progressive because you have to implement the governance first, then the network, the software, the compliance, and finally AI security and the monitoring. To assess and validate our work, we work with 4 cybersecurity experts, and the result of this assessment is here. We have a rate of around 8 over 10 globally on relevance, usability, adaptability, and compliance. And as you can see, the standard compliance and innovation have a high score. That's the same thing about completeness. The expert assessment scores show that OSSEP framework is globally well perceived as relevant tools and framework. Even if the work is relevant, the expert recommends longitudinal pilot tests during 6 to 12 months. After the focus group, we also realized a pre-validation work. The objective is to verify how the compliance with OSSEP requirements reduces the attack surface of an educational platform. And the finding is that as the platform is compliant to OSSEP, We don't have high or medium risk identified. We just have, after the external scan, only two open ports. The conclusion is when, as a pre-validation, when a platform is compliant with OSSEP, that can drastically minimize the attack surface of LMS platforms. At the end of our work, after assessing some um, LMS platform across Africa countries, propose OSSEP framework and work with some experts and do pre-validation process, is that as first contribution, we have done a large scale LMS security assessment in Africa with a pragmatical methodology. We also give an identification of critical gaps in government and academic platforms. We propose OSSEP, a context-aware open source standards align and cost effectiveness framework with a practical guidance for policymakers and edtech providers. Our work is not perfect. That's why you have some limitation. The validation comes mostly from expert review, even if we had a pre-validation process. And the next step is to have a full year pilot deployment. Okay, and we also aim to refine OSSEP and develop an automated compliance tools for a broader adoption. In our work, we propose key recommendations for all the stakeholders, and we know that our work will have some implication for LMS developer, educational institutions, and for both for educators and students. In terms of conclusion, we can say that African LMS, African e-learning system face severe security weakness, but OSSEP offer a practical, cost-effective framework. Its adoption could increase trust in digital education, and Africa can set a global precedent in e-learning security with these projects. We thank you, and we thank you for your attention and valuable for your feedback and question. Thank you.